Boom, boom, boom. When I was a teenager, we used to play stickball. We used to just use a regular broomstick and two Spalding baseballs. So as we got older, we decided we were going to use a real bat. So the first time we ever used a real bat playing stickball, my buddy Tommy Sturchio was at bat. And we were all just hanging out at the lot, and I threw him a fastball, and he swung hard and let go of the bat. And unfortunately, Dino Carenti, who was standing in a close vicinity, took it in the face and knocked all his teeth out of his mouth. So one day, my buddies and I were in the back of the pool room playing stickball like we usually did every day, and we heard a bunch of commotion going on from inside, a lot of screaming. Next thing you know, back door burst open, out comes a body, comes flying out. Behind him, my uncle, yelling at him, screaming at him. The next thing you know, my uncle's crew had a couple of more guys, threw them out into the lot, smacked them up a couple of times, and then my uncle looked at me and says, "Robert, go home. Get back home. Go back to your mom's house." So as I'm walking, as we're leaving the area, I get eye contact with the first guy that got tossed out onto the street. And, he looked at me and I looked at him, and we went on our way. So a couple days later, we're walking home from the park, through the park, and sure enough, I see those guys. They're in the park, and they get eye contact with me. And I'm with my buddy Henry. It was raining, and Henry had an umbrella. And as we started to notice that these guys were coming at us, I kind of grabbed Henry's umbrella, and it fell onto the ground. So I started to run, but Henry turned around to get his umbrella, but it was too late. They were already on Henry. But I knew that they were looking for me, not for Henry. So I ended up getting away. So one time, there was a gentleman that parked his car every night on the side of the pool room lot. Well, my uncle and him had a few words, and I'm assuming that he owed my uncle some money. So my uncle gave him fair warning a couple of times to pay up. And my uncle actually sent me over to his apartment a couple of times to pick up the package, and he never had the package. So one time we were in the back, usual playing stickball, where a couple of guys walked up to the car, parked on the side of the lot, and decided they were going to jack it up. They took the tires, they took the mirrors, they took the steering wheel. And a few hours later, who comes walking out looking for his car? That guy. Well, that guy learned a lesson. And the next day, the package was delivered. I remember one time where my uncle had loaned this guy to open up a restaurant down the street from our house. So they opened up the restaurant, and my uncle and his crew always ate in the restaurant all the time. They went in there, ate up, drank up, went back and hung out the pool room. Well, my uncle, it was time to pay up the loan that the gentleman got. So my uncle went down there to talk to him, and the gentleman said, you know what, you eat at my restaurant every night, I'm not paying you nothing back. And my uncle, he didn't want to hear that. He wanted his money. So next 2 nights later, there was a fire in the garbage, where unfortunately the whole building caught on fire. And needless to say, that was the end of that restaurant. there was a police officer that we knew hung around the pool room all the time who got arrested for selling cartons of cigarettes. What he did was he ratted everybody out. So the FBI agent that was in charge of the case just happened to be my mother's brother. So my mother's brother got in touch with my uncle and told him that they were looking into the establishment and all the illegal things going on. So now, as the years went on, the police and the community people knew that, there was illegal stuff going on in the pool room all the time. So one night they got a knock on the door, and it was a couple of FBI agents wanting to talk to my uncle. But by then, my uncle, unfortunately, he developed cancer. He really didn't want to hear nothing from the police ever. He didn't really care for them too much. And he just basically slammed the door in their face and told them to get the F out of here.